these legalities of China being only for the Chinese, we don't feel that because the Chinese themselves are the ones welcoming us.
What is your message to the world?
Coming to China.
Come to China. Why should people come to China?
Because I like it.
Because you like it. Learned that you lost your husband 2 years ago in China. What happened to your husband if you are comfortable sharing this information with us?
Yeah, no problem. When we got home, he had a heart attack and passed away right in front of my children and some friends.
Were you able to lay your husband to rest in China?
He was cremated.
Thank you. All right. Okay, welcome back again to another episode of Living in China series, coming all the way from China, Weihai. Today I have a woman, a family woman right here in the city to share her experience about life in China. She has been living in the city of Weihai for the past 15 years. Her story is deep and I know you are ready for this conversation. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share. And let's grow the channel together. Thank you so much for coming on my channel.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
So please tell us your name, where you're from, and how long you've been in China.
My name is Meribel Swank. I'm from the Philippines, and I've been in China since 2008.
You've been in China since 2008. Mm-hmm. That's how many years in total?
15.
15 years?
Yeah. Well, 2008 to 2011, and then I went home, gave birth to that little boy over there, and then I came back with the family in 2013 and been living here since.
So what brought you to China?
Well, coming to China was a blessing and a calling. So I had that desire to work as a teacher here, and I prayed about it, and I received that calling.
So as a teacher, what do you teach in China?
I teach English.
English.
For an international school in Weihai.
So how long have you been doing that?
This is my 9th year.
9th year.
Yeah,
How is it like?
Same school.
How is it like teaching English in China from your country?
I teach ESL and first language English. It's not the same because in the Philippines, our students are taught in English from grade 1. And here, our students are international students. So a lot of them speak English for the first time or are learning English the first time. So there's more challenge teaching English here than in the Philippines.
It's okay. You've been in China for the past 15 years. And all these years, you have been living in the city of Weihai?
No. The first time I came here, I was in Shenyang. It's a very cold city. That was a shock for me because that was my first time out of the Philippines, which is a tropical country. And then when I left, I was stationed by the company I worked for in Beijing, and then lived again in Shanghai, Beijing again, and then Weihai.
Okay, you got to Weihai. How was life in Weihai as compared to now?
Weihai has changed dramatically over the years. There are more people here. It's become a little bit crowded. The traffic jam has become real at certain times of the day. And there are more buildings now. Before, the only tall tower here you can see is the one behind us. And a couple of and a couple of high-rise condominiums by the lighthouse. But that was basically it.
You moved from a country which is totally different from China. What were some of the struggles that you went through in your early stages of life here in China?
At first, it was the language, and I struggled with the incorrect perception that, oh, this is going to be a communist country. Am I allowed to say that? But I did not feel that because the system of government is just in place for government. It's not the curtailment of my personal freedom. And the language barrier, I was able to make a way or get around that by using the translator. And then now I have 3 translators in the form of my children.
Sorry, all your 3 children were born in China?
No, only this one. But the firstborn was only 8 years old when we came here, and then the second one, he was only 10 months old. But this youngest one, my girl, was born here.
So did you marry in China, or you married in Philippines or in another country before you moved here with your husband? What happened?
My husband is from the States, and we met in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah. And we moved here as a family in 2013.
Oh, so you moved here with your husband?
Yes.
You are from the Philippines, your husband is from the States, and your child was born in China.
Yes, the youngest one.
The youngest one was born here. How is it like raising children from different backgrounds? I mean, it's a mixture of America, the Philippines, and now China. How is it like?
It's very challenging at first because it's a mix of different cultures. My background, his background, and then where we're at. But then it's beautiful because it became complementary, and then we're able to become more open-minded. And I think that's what becoming an expat is all about. You become open-minded and you're able to adjust and welcome different perspectives.
So how is it like growing up here as a kid, as a foreigner?
In China?
In China, yeah.
It's very nice because most of the things are in the public eye and we're able to access everything that we can. Like, every park is open to foreigners, unlike in some other countries. Like, they won't allow foreigners to go to some areas, and then they give the people who live here, like, better stuff. Whereas, it's so much better being a foreigner in China. China is so, like, public eye-opening. They like to make you be able to be perfectly open to the area instead of staying in one place and only being allowed to access some areas that, like schools or shopping malls, because we need those. But then they let us use everything else. It's also really nice because the people here are very kind to the foreigners. It's also a little funny watching them go like, oh, you're from a different country, oh, like, and then you suddenly speak Chinese and wow. And then it's just really nice. The place is perfect, nice.
So you like living in China?
Yeah.
Learned that you lost your husband 2 years ago in China. What happened to your husband, if you are comfortable sharing this information with us?
Yeah, no problem. It was an ordinary day, and an ordinary day for the Swank family is to go around visiting different sites in Weihai, and we came from RV park in the morning. We booked it for the weekend, and when we got home, he had a heart attack and passed away right in front of my children and some friends when we called him up when he was still having difficulty breathing. And just like that, it reminds you how fleeting life is, and it opens your eyes to the more important things beyond life, which is at first it was difficult for us, but with the help of our Christian community here in Weihai and with a lot of prayers and supports from our families in different parts of the world, we're able to get by, because now the children know that all the things that we see and do here is really temporary. And our faith has even become stronger over the years.
I accept my condolences.
Thank you.
And how were you able to lay your husband to rest in China?
He was cremated. Come to think of it, when he was still around, we were kind of anticipating that something like this would happen because, life is temporary, and we were talking about cremating him when something would happen to him or me. And that's exactly what we did. And it was a beautiful ceremony. We took a lot of pictures and videos that our families from both countries really appreciated. When they saw the way how the Chinese dealt with his body with dignity and respect, that was just like, wow, that's awesome. For the Chinese people to pay their respects also to a foreigner, that was just really touching. There was peace, and I didn't have to struggle like, where am I going to get the money for this, or what am I going to do? I didn't even have to answer those questions. People just came together, and like it was kind of like rehearsed, but it wasn't, and everything just fell into place, and we could feel the Spirit of the Lord being in it from beginning to end, and there's just peace, and we are all at peace knowing where he went.
Wow. I mean, this is a deep story of a woman losing her husband in China, in a foreign country. And I'm glad that you've, learned something, and your faith has grown in your Lord.
Yeah, and we're really thankful about that. The Lord really leads his people, and he's been there, so he knows what we would be going through, and that gives us strength. He is very faithful in his promises that I will take you there, but you don't have to worry about anything. As I said, it's just a calling that we had to heed, and we're just here to enjoy and do what do what is best for us at that time, knowing that the repercussions are eternal.
Hi, MJ.
Hi,
How is it like being born in China?
I like it
Why do you like it?
because there's many people who can be my friends and I like it.
Oh, so who is your best friend?
My
Chinese?
family.
Your family is a best. That's so smart. So you went to the Chinese kindergarten, right?
Yes.
How was it like being in a Chinese kindergarten?
It was nice
Come closer.
because I also had an English friend.
Oh, you had an English friend.
She was like Chinese American, and her name is Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah.
So when you go out, do the Chinese people see you as a Chinese or a foreigner?
For
Foreigner. And you get a lot of attention, right?
yeah,
What did they do?
they still play.
They stop you to get some pictures?
No, they play with me.
They play with you. So you like being in China, right? I mean, you are from the Philippines. We sometimes hear there's a bit of tension between China and the Philippines. You as a Filipino living in China, do you face some discrimination or racism based on some of the things that goes on between these two beautiful countries?
Not in the least. It's very scary if you don't know. But once you get here, you don't feel that at all. The Chinese people are very peaceful, loving, and they're usually they easily get endeared to my children, and they take lots of pictures and videos of them, and we're happy to oblige. And they love the attention. Sometimes it just messes with our schedule because we have to hurry, but we have to stop for pictures. But it's nice because they're very friendly and they're accommodating, and we don't get to feel like, oh, you are from a different country, you have no place here. No, not at all. They're very welcoming, and for them to let us enjoy what they have, that's beautiful, and that's something that we would always treasure. I believe that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, so we just claim that. We don't say these legalities of China being only for the Chinese. We don't feel that because the Chinese themselves are the ones welcoming us.
So first tell us your name because you're the big boy. Tell us your name.
My name is Angelo Miguel, but people just call me Miguel.
Miguel.
Yeah.
And you've been living in China since childhood, right?
I've been living here since I was 8 years old. Yeah.
8 years old. How is it like growing up here in China as a foreigner?
Well, growing up I remember very little about growing up in the Philippines. I was kind of an outsider in the Philippines. I didn't have as many friends in the Philippines. Whereas when I came here, it was more, I felt more included in everything. It was more of a community here. And even with my family, we don't really feel like outsiders here. The people here are very welcoming, and it's just an overall very nice experience, a living good quality of life in general, I would say. There's not really anything I have to compare it to, but overall, I would say it's a pretty good experience overall.
Right. So as a Filipino living in China, what are you using your life and the life of your family here to help foster the relationship between these two countries?
By going on interviews like this and by sharing to them our experiences, which we do heavily. We post a lot of pictures and videos in different social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and we also have our local channel. My daughter keeps that, maintains that, and we're able to share the beautiful sights in China, how awesome it is to have a good relationship with our next door neighbor or our students and our international family here.
Do your children feel they are Americans, they are Chinese, or they are from the Philippines? I mean, how do they juggle between these three countries?
I think culture is what you make of it. They just welcome and assimilate whatever culture is passed on to them, whether it is from the perspective of their classmates. I don't get to tell them very often, you have to do this because you're a Filipino, or you have to be like this because you're American. They hear that from me from time to time, but I don't really impose that because they are their own person. It's nice that they have a blend of American, Chinese, and Filipino, and all the other expats that we have met and made friends with here in Weihai.
You have some Chinese friends?
Yes.
What is your favorite Chinese word?
I don't have one.
You don't have one. If your countrymen and women are planning coming to China, based on your experiences here, what is one thing that they should know before making that trip to China?
Be open-minded. Don't come to China with your stereotypes and stubbornness, not wanting to welcome anything that is Chinese related, because being open-minded is the way how you would open your life and welcome new things. And these new things are beautiful.
What is your message to the world?
Coming to China.
Come to China. Why should people come to China?
Because I like it.
Because you like it.
What is my message to the world? Live life and prosper. Yeah, I'd say.
Live life and...
Live long and prosper, probably.
Okay, live long and prosper. That's his message to the world.
Subscribe.
Subscribe! His message to the world is subscribe to King Kwesi's channel. I like that. Describe your overall experiences living here, having a kid here, working here for the past 15 years. Describe it in one word.
Blessing.
Blessing. Wow. I was not expecting that. And I think if you want to come to China, watch this video, make that trip to China, come here with an open mind, and you enjoy the beautiful country China. See you in the next one. Peace out.